I'm Kamran, and I work for Redislabs. Just a quick question by show of hands. How many of you have heard of Redis or know about it? All right, probably 25-30% people. Okay, so Redis, it is a NoSQL database. It is a key value store. And the main use case for Redis is that you are serving data and you want to serve it fast with sub-millisecond latency, and the data size that can be from gigabytes to terabytes. Redis will still serve it with a sub-millisecond latency. And it's a key value store. The values, they are data structures. Redislabs, Redis as a database, it is available as open source, and Redis Enterprise, we take the core Redis and provide functionality, ease of manageability, security, and things that the enterprises want from their core database. And the use cases is used quite extensively. It's the most loved database for 3 years in a row on Stack Overflow. On AWS, it's the most used database. And the use cases, they are quite varied. People use it for web caching, people use it for analytics, for fraud detection, for job queues, and all that kind of stuff. In this talk, I will talk about how you can run your AI models also inside Redis. But first of all, I will give you some, because a lot of people, if they don't know about Redis, I will just give you a quick introduction to Redis, and then we will jump into how you can run your AI models there. Okay. So as I said, that Redis, it is quite popular with the developers, and there are a few reasons for that. One is the performance. If you are using any cache, probably there is nothing faster than Redis. It's written in C, it provides the data structures, it's simple, that's its philosophy. You can manipulate the data inside Redis using all the known structures that you know, sets, hash sets, lists, and all that kind of stuff. Okay? And that's the Redis philosophy. Then it's extensible also. Out of the box, it provides about 9 different data structures for geospatial. It provides data structures for it provides a probabilistic data structure, hyperlog log, but there was always the case that can someone implement a Bloom filter? Can someone implement a min-max k? Can you implement? Can you do search? So the modules, they are kind of plugins that you can put into Redis, and those data structures, they are available to you. And most of them, they are developed by the community or Redislabs, and they work at the speed of Redis. And you get consistent sub-millisecond performance there. So again, another way of showing it, that Redis, at the core, you have the basic data structures, and then there are a few modules available to you. If you want to do text search, you can put your documents in, and you can do your text search. If you want to use it as a document store, you can use it as a document store. You can put your JSON documents in, and it supports JSON querying. There is a time series module available. There is a Bloom filter module available. I'll be talking about the upcoming AI module here. There is a graph module also available. And then if you want to build your workflows, there is a gears module also available. And underpinning all that is scalable. You can add persistence. You can deploy Redis across multiple data centers. For synchronization, it uses a technology called CRDT, where both sides, they can be active-active, and you can access the data at local speed, and it does the conflict merging or the data merging in the background for you. Multi-tenant security, so all the things, it provides you with those. Okay. These slides, they will be available to you later after the talk. Okay. So this is just a one-to-one web architecture that where does Redis fit in? Because Redis it's kind of a Swiss Army knife. So where does it fit in? So if you are using it as a caching service, you can use the strings, you can put time to limit when the data expires there. Okay. If you have user sessions, most of the popular frameworks, they already integrate with Redis and they use hashes and set data type. Okay. If you have jobs, if you want to send notifications, it provides you with streams. It also provides you with pub and sub. Okay. For search, there is a search module available. For rate limiting, there are patterns available. If you have an API, you want to do rate limiting, you can do rate limiting with the Redis. Okay. And you can also use it as your primary data store. It can tier the data between the RAM and the flash also for fast access. And then you have streams. If you want to ingest the data, you can use streams. And it also has a concept of consumer groups and all that kind of stuff there. Okay. And if you are doing microservices, you can deploy, and just with one database, it's a multi-model database and it covers all of those different use cases for you. Okay. Now, I mentioned that Redis is scalable. You can run just one process, or you can scale it to millions of operations per second. And on Redis Enterprise, that's the architecture. You can have multiple nodes, you have a proxy, and then the data that is kept in different shards, and you can just scale it out. In our benchmarks that we did, we ran with 40 large nodes. We had large amounts of data, and we achieved 200 million operations per second on C518X large instances. Not many companies will require that, but it is a scalable system, and it's a multi-tenant system. Okay, and it scales linearly. As you added multiple nodes, you can start small and you can add more things. Up to now, I've been just talking about the database. That okay, it provides you with data structures. You can use it as your primary data store. There are a lot of use cases that it covers, and there are modules available. And I'm specifically going to talk about the AI module in this talk. Okay, so normally, how do you develop your module? You get some data, you clean it, you train it, and then you get your trained model out. Okay. Now, how do you plan? You have the model. How are you going to execute the model? TensorFlow. It provides a TensorFlow server, which has C++ bindings, or it has a REST API also available. PyTorch, it has Torch script, again C++ bindings. Onyx, it has its own runtime, again that is in C++. Or as a data scientist, you say, I've trained the model, I'm just going to flog it off to the ops team. They decide how they plan to run it, execute your model. All of those execution environments, they are written in C++, and probably your application that's not written in C++. You can bind it, and there are options available for that. But not very efficient. You have to cross the language boundary there. Okay? And you have to write your own server, or utilize the REST serving layer. Okay? But production is much more than that. You want to version your models. You want to have multiple models available to you. You want to, at different times, swap different models. You want to distribute your models across multiple machines where they are running. Okay? So, and all that, it takes expertise. Then, you also have to get your, it requires unique skills. Then you also have to get the data from somewhere and push it to your models to execute them if you want to do that in real time. Okay? And that is the typical architecture. You have your application, you have your app servers, you have your databases, and then from the databases you get the data, you send it to the you get the vector, you send it to the serving layer, you execute it, you get the response back, probably you serve it to the client, or you also put it into the database. What we are proposing with Redis AI module is that you don't need a server. You already have a scalable system that you can deploy that manages your data. You can just put your models, you can treat them just as a data model there. Your data also is located in Redis, and you can just execute, sorry, I'll just go back there. And then you can just execute collocated your models with your data there. Okay. The benefit it's giving you is you are getting versioning, you are reducing hops, you have less moving parts, you have a scalable system, a proven scalable system there. Okay. And if any one of you have used Redis, Redis has libraries for almost every language. There are hundreds of libraries available, the community develops them, and the commands that it has, if it's a list, okay, saying that, okay, push something to this list, pop something from this list, insert something in the middle, and all the languages, they have bindings for those libraries. And modules, again, they follow the same model. They provide you with the other different commands. So using, and the AI module, that is no different from that. So it is providing with the commands that, okay, there is a command available which you can call from any language, Java, Python, Julia, R, whatever language you have. All right, that's my model. Pick it up and load the model. At the back end, we are supporting PyTorch, we are supporting TensorFlows, and we are also supporting Onyx runtime there. Once you have loaded that model, it's automatically persisted on the disk, and it is available. Okay. You can set the values for the subject, and then all you need to do is execute the model, your model, and get the result back. That's it. And you have a scalable system available for that. You are avoiding a network hop there, and these are all the commands available. Okay. And you get the data back. If you want to return it to the client, fine. If you want to store it in Redis, you can do that. Okay. And they are no more different. That's why Redis is so popular, that when people use it for caching. Okay. And then if you have different models, again, it is just like a data structure or a string for you. You want to replace your model, you have a new model, you just add it. You can use the same key, or you can, if you are replacing it, if you have a different version, you can just upload a new model there. Okay. You can do your A/B testing. You can do user level. If at peak times you want to run a different model, at other times you want to run a different model, you can do all that kind of stuff there. Okay. So that's the end of the presentation. But GPU, that is also supported. It's fully multi-threaded. It uses multi-GPU also. So I'm open for any questions. Anything there? Any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.